going, Alex?
What up?
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, I'm George Koutros, and this is my good buddy of 15 years.
Yep, Alex Asta. Yep, here we are.
We too. We are co-owners of B&B Guardians, but more importantly, we're embarking on this journey here to share with you guys kind of our missteps and things we learned along the way as we're starting to form a business and help streamline everyone's processes to getting financial freedom. And today we're going to talk to something that I think is I want to say near and dear because I never thought myself being a systems engineer, but systems and processes and how it's grown from when we first started to now only still being a young 2-year-old business. Kind of, the speed bumps we hit along the way and stuff that Alex and myself have learned.
Yeah, I remember when we first got started, and oh boy, and then thinking back to getting the very first unit set up almost, yeah, about a year and a half ago now, and holy smokes, that was there's a just it's not even the same conversation, just a night and day difference of what we were doing then, what we weren't doing then, and what we are doing now. I mean, just radical difference.
Dude, what were the? I mean, you did the first unit entirely yourself because I was on deployment. So I mean, walk me through like when that first unit because it's fresh in my mind what we're doing today. But that first unit, what did it look like?
It was probably like, man, maybe almost an 8 week thing of purchasing things. A lot of that time was spent, I wanted to purchase a number of things prior to going out of town. So that way when I got back into town, I could mostly get things staged. So, but there's probably like an 8 week window of like actually purchasing furniture related items and shopping for a mattress, and then and it's so funny because that particular unit, well, and it was the first one, that is the smallest apartment that we have at this point. Physically, the smallest one is like, and it took, of course, it was the first one, so but it took by far the longest. But yeah, in when I was back in town and getting things set up, I mean, there were just so many trips to different stores, Home Goods and Home Sense and all these stores, just that like, oh, I forgot this one thing. Now I run to the store and then I go back and get it installed, and like I forgot this. There's two other things. Okay, go back. All doing that in like the evenings after my full-time job. So it was being done from like, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. like every day, just dying.
Dude, and it's funny. It's like I'd like to say that every unit we're just getting better and better and better. But I mean, I remember like on the fourth or fifth unit when I flew out to help you out with the digital detox unit, we still were like 3 or 4 times we went to Home Depot and we had like 5 different Amazon orders and we're playing.
Yeah.
We forgot this and we forgot that, and I guess the more would be there for people just starting out. Yes, you could you know we have a bottom line. We create a checklist, a really detailed checklist, a new unit checklist for everything that we buy. We're still iterating on that and still making it better, but we could hand you that checklist today and it would probably not make sense to your specific situation. You could use it and there's like good stuff there, just like we've been given checklists, but there's something to just doing it, and out of the necessity of I cannot do it this way anymore, we started to create these processes. And it's not like we sat down and thought it out and brainstormed, let's create a process to make it better. It's just like we can't do this if we want to.
It was That was the red light blinking, like the ship is coming close. There's the lighthouse, and it's like we're doing things a certain way and it's not sustainable. We cannot continue this way. We must force ourselves to become better. And then as soon as we start, and for me that was also, a little bit of a just like, hey, believe this will work, just follow the steps, right? It's like, hey, this 27 item checklist, it's like, whoa, that's daunting. Nope, just shut up and do it, just every single one. We had a long period of time last year where we, you know maybe got a little complacent. We thought, oh yeah, everything's great and we're just fine. But you know what, after that, let's say 6 month span last year where we got like one new unit set up in this amount of time, and then once we were getting that unit that you referenced, digital detox, when we were getting that set up, it was like almost back to like the beginning a little bit. Like there's some improvements from a year prior, but it was like, whoa, okay, yeah, we're still making these extra trips, now, it's like, okay, we've got different softwares, with, other things online to make ordering much smoother and more streamlined. So yeah, now it's just continuing to get better, but we're still making, tweaks and adjustments to it.
And it's, I think, without making this crazy just about, Airbnb and short-term rentals, I'd say we identified a few things. It's like we do these same things every time. Let's document the process. So we started documenting. So we have a whole checklist of everything we have to do, from building the unit to physically installing the furniture to designing what the interior design looks like, to apply, like uploading on Airbnb and our PMS guesty, and we have all these things that we're doing, and it has made it a lot easier because like you can follow a checklist, and the checklist might be flawed, but it's definitely better than what's rattling around in your brain at 2 in the morning when you're done working and you have to start your second job. So I think the key and agnostic of short-term rental was we documented the things that we were consistently doing into SOPs, we created checklists, and then we looked where we could buy back time. And I think we utilized different software, and we automated it, like we said, with Minoan, which is a platform that allows us to order everything off of Wayfair, and it's on a discount, so we're getting better quality stuff for cheaper, which is crazy because we spent thousands. We probably blew $10,000+ or more on furniture that was less quality. So really, it's just figuring out where the software and the automating intersects with what you're doing, documenting it, and then just improving a little bit every time. Because you don't have to have a perfect system now, but I do know that every time we do it, it's getting better, and we're able to. Obviously, it helps when you can bring other people in and they can do stuff, and it's not a one-man show or a two-man show. So I think as we grow and expand, creating SOP for any business of the stuff that you do day in, day out, and then freeing up some white space to think about, more up and out, less down and in, which I think in the early stages we were bogged down with, like going to buy toothbrush holders. Like that's not something, that we need to be focusing on. At least I'd like not to do that. So now we just have everything hyperlinked. So that's just an example of how we do it in STR, but it's applicable
Yeah.
to business, writ large.
And I think, what's really important, a big milestone for us, and it's important to note, like you said, every time we set up a new unit, we're making improvements, the speed, the efficiency. And so going back to the very first unit, which was less than 2 years ago, it was pretty much exactly 20, 17 months. So that was, took a good 2 to 3 weeks to set up. And it was a 400 square foot studio apartment. The apartment we just set up last week, I calculated that was 4 working days from the very first boxes we were unpacking to cleaning and pictures being done, which was on the fourth day. So 4 working days to include pictures and cleaning. And now this unit that we're setting up, gearing up to set up this week, I've spent, on site, like unpacking or doing anything, setup related, spent about 1 hour there already, doing the first couple boxes that arrived. But now we're going to go from last week with 4 working days to now this week on the schedule. We've got, I think, only Thursday of one day of getting all the boxes, all the videos that we need for the days, and then probably pictures and cleaning on Friday. So going from 4 days down to 2 days for this next unit. So, which, I think a big part of that is it's just kind of planning ahead. All these systems, all the ordering in advance, and now instead of making 6 different trips there with 10 boxes a piece per trip, now we're just waiting until everything arrives, okay, or 95% of it arrives. Go there, have one big day of unboxing and organizing and cleaning and pictures the next day. So
Yeah, and I can look forward and extrapolate. Like, we'll use our example because it's just what we know, but one of the things that bogs us down in unit setup is literally just what you think setting up furniture. Like 3 hours setting up a bed frame or a bench or something like that. And that is not anything that you need to know to make the business run. But in the beginning, you just grind it out because, and Alex has done the majority of the grinding out of this, so I'm sure he's like excited for where we're going, where this conversation's leading. But it is time to hire a dude at minimum wage to screw furniture together and use Allen wrenches. That time is
I
coming.
mean, yeah, I've been investing in a lot of. It's actually funny. I enjoy this, but for my own kind of tool collection. But I now have so many furniture assembly specific tools that make that easier that I'd be happy to share with people that are doing it. But yeah, on that most recent studio where we were doing where it took 4 days,
Two
whatever,
of
two
those
and a half
days were
days.
one of those was just one bench.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. 2 hours of was a single nightstand, but that was yeah last week. Tuesday, Wednesday were just furniture kind of assembly days, and I was like, as I was cranking the Allen wrench, I was like, what? This is that we could have done that entire thing instead of 4 days. It could have been 2 days.
Yeah,
It should have been,
and
and that was like that was the red light going off at that moment. Like, what are we doing?
it's like, what is your time worth in it? And as you start the entrepreneurial journey, like you're still in that mindset regardless of what you've read and all like the mental masturbation rich dad poor dad books you've read of like, oh, freedom. You're still in the like, I need to save money phase because you're just
Yeah,
fighting this off. So it's like, I can't afford to pay someone $15 an hour to assemble furniture. Now it's like, charge an onboarding fee and use part of that fee to pay someone to screw the furniture together so you can look up and out and do other things, and we could have two onboardings going at the same time, which will eventually net us more money and will pay for itself. And I think we're right there. We have a
yeah.
new perspective, new unit onboarding manager coming in, and it's very easy to hire labor, unskilled labor to assemble stuff, but let it be a lesson for whatever business you have. Like, you hire people when you can and it makes sense, if you are using that time to do more important stuff.
So I let me ask you this. Would you hire someone so you can use your time, in a more important way? Would you say that being a I don't know how many months pregnant, 5 month, 6 month pregnant woman as the operator of an Airbnb is her time best spent cleaning her own units?
I would say no. I would say no.
Spo- Spoiler, I just saw this today.
In the studio. Oh
Yes,
my
in the
god.
buil- in that building, I was taking all a bunch of videos for the VAs for both units in that building,
It's
and I saw the other Airbnb tenant in the building. She has two apartments, and I didn't recognize her because I've only met her once. The cleaner is here. She's cleaning an apartment or two, and I was like, wait a second, she's pregnant. I was like, oh, I know who that is. I was like, oh
yeah.
my God, what are you doing?
I'm hoping
What
that
are
you
you?
threw the pitch that we could take over. Is that
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna catch up in a couple days, but I was like, what are you doing?
it's like dude, it's crazy to me because how many times, and we deal with this with owners. I want to clean. I was like, there, that is insane. One, you're just, I don't know
I
how to
th
say this, but like, okay, so this is a hobby for you, and you're just trying to pinch pennies, and that's cool. If that's what you want to do, I'm totally on board with that. But don't. It's just not the same, and it's really hard to integrate with people that want to save $100 on the cleaning, when to me that's like your time. That's so much time, and the laundry,
I
and I mean, you call me chauvinistic, but I just hate fucking doing laundry, and I don't want to do it, and I definitely don't want to do other people's laundry. That's why we pay our
I
cleaners top dollar, so they could do that shit. Because I'm not
I
fucking doing it.
I think the big common denominator for people when they're like for clients of ours that are like, oh yeah, I can do the laundry, I can help, is because that in their minds, that is in a lot of other Airbnb operators, that is the most obvious way of like, oh, money savings, I can do it myself.
But it's just like, yeah, to me, and you know what? I don't knock. I bash my head against the wall because I get frustrated when we tell people that, and they're like, no, I'm not clean. And I'm like, to me, that's like a red flag, and I would say it's a disqualifier for working with people for us now. If the person is so stubborn that they want to clean their own thing, at that point, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to work for you as the owner, but also now you're working for me as the cleaner, because that's what it has to be. It's like, hey, cool, you want to clean? FYI, you follow our cleaning checklists and our standards, and if you mess up, you are reimbursing us the cleaning fee. Are you cool with that? No, the owner's not going to be cool with that. So it's like, it's just not going to work. I guess if we're sticking with the theme of systems and, what we've learned from the beginning till now, I would say don't get bogged down in thinking we're just talking about sitting in a room and drawing up these elaborate processes and workflow charts. Like, okay, that's part of it. I've never really done that. I started doing it for this to try and help, but I'm also just thinking about like the basic things, like how do you manage your day? And like, we've progressed from like, I have a whiteboard and I check off things I need to do, and that's just like, for me, I'm just used to having whiteboards and it's there and I can do it. But we've also, we've got Monday.com, which is a workflow management thing, and it's like, we've just, you have to track. If you are not tracking what you're doing, and you're not scheduling it out and seeing it, it's just going to get dropped because there's just too much shit. And it's like, even today when we're talking to a new person, you know, I'm saying, they're asking for, hey, when's this going to happen? When's that going to happen? And I'm like, yeah, you know, we really should have like some kind of weekly battle rhythm where I put out like what the schedule of the week is. And it's on me. It's just that it gets lost in the sauce. So it's like we're slowly getting there, and hopefully, you know, with our new virtual assistant that's worked in the industry for 6 years, it'll buy up some time, and we'll have the time to start doing that stuff. But yeah, it's you held up your notebook.
Yep, every day.
That's my I have mine as well, and I just take it with me everywhere I go because if I can just write down, even if it's just a sloppy box I have to get to later, you just gotta write it down when it's in your, because you're gonna lose it. It's gonna be gone. Like you can have a brilliant idea, and then fugazi doesn't exist.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was, and for me, oh man, that kind of concept of like, I used to write things down on my phone. There's probably 800 notes in my phone, but now, specifically with a notebook, I can have the dates and the pages, okay, and the little
And you
page
close it out,
saver.
like you have like you make
Yeah,
it part of your
checked it.
daily routine that you close
Yeah,
out what you need to do. Yeah, me
yeah,
too. It's like going back to the systems. Like you can record all the stuff and everything, but you have to work it into your daily rhythm where you are closing out those items, or at least scheduling when you're going to get them done.
yeah. And I think probably one of the next steps, kind of on that note, for us is, which we've started to do and build out, which is a totally separate thing, is Monday. Doing Monday.com as the task tracker and planner. So that's a much more sophisticated version of the little notebook,
The notebook. Hey, don't you know
but
that's the notebook works though?
no, I know that. I love it. And I feel like, like so many of our clients, most of our clients, not all, but most, they are just so not used to anything technology related with apps and software to the extent that we use them every day for Airbnb. And so this notebook is like our clients, and like writing a check, putting it in the mail, paying your phone bill, and then versus Monday.com really fits well with everything else that we're doing with all these softwares and apps and things like that, integrations. So it's, I think deep down we do want to write the check out, sometimes, but there's both. I think
Yeah,
there's benefits
as
to
you
both.
scale with new employees, it's like really the notebook is good to capture our personal things, and then you upload that to Monday so everyone can see what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Because that's also too. It's like I gotta hold myself accountable. Like I come up with these ideas or ways I want things implemented, and I'm like, this is so simple, but like it doesn't find its way down to the virtual assistant. So then I'm like, I explain it in my mind like they should already know it, but really at the end of the day, the beautiful mind thing that I got going on the whiteboard doesn't always translate to the virtual assistant in the Philippines who can't read my mind. Colors, and they're all
Yeah.
thinking back to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've started experimenting with workflow charts just because it just, I don't, I mean, I'm sure I'm like well behind the power curve with like people, industry and business, because this is workflow charts have been around for a while and they have them in the military, but I've just never used them because I'm like, that's lame. I don't want to be doing any shit on a computer. Cut to me like, hey, you just gotta follow the dude. You just gotta follow the workflow chart. I lay it out. It's super clean. Like, you just go yes or
Yeah.
no. Go here. If then this. And it's
Yeah.
like, what have I become? What monster?
Yes, exactly. God, just this spreadsheet monster.
Dude, you die the hero, or you live long enough to become the villain. And I think I am the admin villain, at least in this business. I'm the admin villain.
Yes, yes, you are. Yeah.
But hey, we tried. But yeah, dude, I just, when I think about where we started off, and it was, I mean, 2 years is a lot for two people. It's like we have now cumulative 4 years of combined experience dumped into this. But I think it's applicable to anything. It's like you don't have to. It's not this crazy thing, and there's probably there is 100% business savvy people that are way better at business than I'll ever be or you'll ever be, that have this all dialed, and they come in and they can go into a business and they can blah 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 blah, and that's great for them, and people like that, like, you don't need this. But I'm thinking about the dude who's like, I need to start something, I want to get out, and I'm like, okay, cool, step one, start doing it. Just start doing it. And it may be super inefficient and it may be a time suck, but guess what, in a year you will be more experienced than like 90% of the human population, 95% of the human population, on what you're specifically doing. And now you're just competing with the top 5% of people that do that thing. Okay, cool. From there, we can start iterating. You can get into the right rooms and meet people that have systems and actually understand what they mean. But at the beginning, like when you were fucking setting that shit up, like you were just setting up a unit and getting it ready to go. And that unit now performs still to this day and makes us money and has definitely paid off its debt and is now just completely profitable for us and is cash flow. Cool. There was ass pain in the beginning. Okay, great. There's more ass pain to come. Ohika, bend over, here it comes again. Remember that phrase.
So it's, so when you talk about like, just doing the work, getting it set up, and then, you will not be the most experienced when you begin, but you will get better. Yeah, 2 years is a long time, but 2 years is not a long time. And we're not even at that 2 year mark. We're at 1.5 right now, and which from that first unit, which is nuts because the man, and this is sad that this other unit from 6 months ago still has not started due to a building related issue. However, that unit, the previous Airbnb tenant in the building there, he and his wife, they had 2 units in the building, and they'd been doing it for like, I think 2 years or maybe more. I think maybe they just got to the 2 year mark and they did not want to renew their lease again if the owner was not willing to paint and do different things. I think it was 2 years, it was either 2 years for them or 3 years. But either way,
Burn.
they were totally burned out. They were doing everything themselves. It was definitely a hobby, and they had really no interest in scaling beyond 2 units. They just did. As a matter of fact, they were comfortable going down to 1 unit, but the owner said, nope, we are not willing to paint or put in a new carpet or whatever it was. And they were like, okay, well, we're leaving. The owner said, okay, enjoy, get your shit out.
Yeah, I mean, and there you said it perfectly right. They treated it like it was a hobby, and that's okay because you can treat Airbnb like a hobby and have 3 units, and you could with those 3 units you could probably you have a very nice supplemental income and have enough that right there could fund your vacations and funny money if you're cool with whatever you had, and that's great. I think we like want to talk to the people that want more than that, and that's we say systems and it's a very broad term processes, systems, procedures, SOPs, all that shit, but we set these things up to create a business. And a business is something that me, or the owner of a business can walk away from and it is still running. That's why we set these things up.
This is a 7 month goal, a little less than a 6.5 month goal at this from today. When you talk about you want to be able to step away from the business, you want to be able to it run itself, with systems in place. So, 6.5 months from now is when, and we've talked about this, how this will work. And I know at this point how it will work, both of us being going out of the country for my wedding in November, it'll be very interesting to have this kind of a 6 month update from now where we're like, all right, yep, we know what we need to do. We're hiring a more capable who will ultimately save us more time so we can focus on growing, focus on improving things even more. Peter on a part-time basis for new unit setup. He's helping me on Thursday. So getting these different puzzle pieces, these different chess pieces into place, and some additional ones. So I think that'll be in like, but that's right now. If you and I stepped away, the machine doesn't quite keep turning. It comes to a stop, and that's the whole
We gotta
thing
loop
is.
that baby up.
Oh yeah, it's going to Costco. It is. That's the thing. It's like we need the machine to keep moving even when we step away because in 6 months we both of us will be stepping away. We have to. So that's going to be like that's a big challenge for this year. We're going to reach that long before that, but yeah, that's kind of the whole goal. Keep the machine moving while removing yourself from that piece.
I'm done being a cog in a machine. I'd like to at least update or promote.
You can update your LinkedIn profile, edit, cog
Yeah,
gone.
I don't think I joke. I don't think in the military I'm a cog. I think that's a very heightened sense of self worth. I think I'm like the grease you spray is like completely consumable and gets burned up. I just keep the cog. I keep the cog smoking. I'm the grease that burns up. Like, that's my function.
What is like the material that hot dogs are made of? It's all the scraps and everything. That's
Yeah, that's good. And more. Good. All right, I think we got the shot clock coming in here. So I don't know. I think I'm happy with what we got on this one. I think this is a good little mini capstone on why we started systems and where we're going.
yeah.
Stoked to catch up with you later on in the week. New unit just went live like 45 minutes ago, so we'll see how that goes and keep on crushing.
Yeah, God, $20 says we get a reservation in the next 12 hours
Yeah,
before
yeah,
noon tomorrow. So
heck yeah.
the one, talking with the homeowner today, actually, just briefly, the of course the positive thing about a new listing and having an established host profile is even though it shows up as a new listing,
They use it.
they see, oh wow, Alex, 4.93 stars, 400 something reviews. Excellent. Okay, sure, bam.
Yeah.
So we've definitely got the advantage there, but
Oh yeah.
a lot of hard work, but
Yeah, yeah.
so
No doubt there. All right, brother. Well, I'm
yep.
gonna. I know it's. I don't say it's late for me because it's only 9, but that means that it's 12 o'clock for you in the morning. So catch those Z's.
Yep, got some dog eyes coming in hot.
Yeah,
So
anytime, dog
yep.
guys. All right, bro. Take it easy.
Yep.
See
All
you.
right. All right.